The massive screens in the Galactic Council's central chamber flickered with images of a blue-green planet. The council members, representing the oldest and most advanced species in the known galaxy, leaned forward in their seats. What they saw both fascinated and terrified them. "This is the third time we've observed them splitting the atom," announced head observer Tom, his tentacles waving in distress. "But this time, they're not using it for destruction. They've adapted it for power generation, medical treatment, and space exploration." The council watched as images of Earth's history played before them. Humans fought wars, created art, built cities, and reached for the stars. What took other species thousands of years, humans accomplished in mere decades. "Impossible," whispered first speaker Bill, his crystalline form shimmering with concern. "No species should advance this quickly. It defies all known development patterns." The observation team's report was equally disturbing. Humans had gone from horse-drawn carriages to space stations in less than 2 centuries. They had survived multiple near-extinction events, each time emerging stronger. Their entertainment even focused on overcoming impossible odds and defeating superior forces. "Look at this," said Security Chief Jack, pointing to a new set of data. "They're already theorizing about faster-than-light travel. Their mathematics are crude, but their intuitive leaps are concerning." The council chamber erupted in worried murmurs. According to all previous experience, humans should have destroyed themselves several times over. Instead, they had turned their destructive tendencies into driving forces for advancement. "We must act now," declared Defense Minister Bob, thumping his mechanical arm on the table. "Standard containment protocols must be implemented before they develop any further." The vote was unanimous. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Council approved the deployment of a Level 10 containment barrier. The shimmering energy field would isolate Earth from the rest of the galaxy, preventing any contact until humans had properly matured. The barrier generators were positioned in deep space, far beyond human detection capabilities, or so they thought. Within hours of activation, warning signals blared through the council chamber. "This is unprecedented," shouted Technical Advisor Mike, his holographic form flickering with agitation. "They've not only detected the barrier, but they're studying it. Their primitive sensors shouldn't even be able to see it." The council watched in horror as human scientists began running tests on the barrier's energy field. Their primitive instruments had somehow detected the subtle changes in spacetime, and they were already developing theories about its origin and purpose. "Wait, what's happening?" First speaker Bill's voice cracked with disbelief. The barrier was fluctuating, its energy patterns shifting in ways that should have been impossible. They're poking holes in it," Technical Advisor Mike whispered. "They're using their particle accelerators to study the barrier's quantum structure. This shouldn't be possible. Their technology is centuries too primitive for this." Within 6 hours of deployment, the unthinkable happened. The containment barrier, designed to last for millennia, began to fail. Humans had discovered a fundamental flaw in its design simply by studying its effects on light waves and particle behavior. "Shut it down," ordered first speaker Bill. "Shut it down before they trace it back to us." But it was too late. As the barrier collapsed, human sensors recorded every detail of its energy signature. The Council's observation feeds showed increased activity at every major research facility on Earth. Humans were already working to understand and replicate the technology. Defense Minister Bob's mechanical fingers drummed nervously on the table. "We may have made a terrible mistake. Instead of containing them, we've given them new technology to study." The council sat in stunned silence as reports continued to pour in. Humans weren't angry about the attempted containment. They were excited. Every failed attempt to restrict them only seemed to spur their development. "Perhaps," said head observer Tom quietly, "we should reconsider our approach. These humans, they don't follow any patterns we understand. And now they know they're not alone." The screen showed humans working with renewed purpose, their determination evident in every action. The council had wanted to contain humanity. Instead, they had just announced their presence to the most adaptable species in the galaxy. First Speaker Bill's crystalline form dimmed slightly. "May the Ancient Ones help us all. We've just made first contact with a species that treats impossible barriers as interesting puzzles to solve." The news spread across Earth like wildfire. Every major observatory, research station, and space monitoring facility had detected the strange energy field that had briefly surrounded Earth. Scientists worked around the clock, analyzing the data they'd collected during its brief existence. "Look at these readings," said Dr. Smith at NASA headquarters, pointing to his screen. "The energy signature doesn't match anything we've ever seen before, but it's clearly artificial." In laboratories across the globe, researchers began to piece together the puzzle. The barrier had left behind traces of exotic particles that defied known physics. But instead of being discouraged, Earth's scientists were thrilled by the challenge. Within days, a unified global research initiative was formed. Former rival nations shared data freely, recognizing that this discovery was bigger than any earthly politics. The United Earth Science Coalition was born, dedicated to understanding the alien technology that had tried to cage humanity. "The barrier wasn't just containing us," announced Professor Wilson during an emergency UN session. "It was studying us. We found embedded scanning technology in its matrix. Someone out there is watching." The revelation sparked a wave of innovation. Countries pooled their resources, combining their most advanced technologies. Quantum computers worked overtime, processing the barrier's complex energy patterns. Particle accelerators probed the secrets of the exotic matter left behind. Then came the breakthrough. "We've cracked it." Dr. Johnson's voice boomed through the coalition's main research facility. The barrier wasn't just a wall. It was a technology demonstration. They showed us exactly how their system works by trying to use it against us. The coalition's success was unprecedented. By studying how the barrier manipulated space-time, humans had learned more about physics in 2 weeks than they had in the previous century. The principles behind faster-than-light travel, which had been theoretical, suddenly became practical. Military leaders watched with growing confidence as new technologies emerged from the research. Earth's combined defense forces began adapting the discoveries, preparing for any future attempts to contain humanity. "We can do better than just defend," said General Thompson during a global security meeting. "We can reach out, show them we're ready for peaceful contact, but we won't be pushed around." The decision was made. Earth would send a message, but it needed to be perfect, something that would show both their capabilities and their intentions. Using the reversed engineered barrier technology, humans built a device that could punch a small hole through space-time. The message would be delivered directly to the regions of space where the barrier's control signals had originated. On a clear night, as billions watched their screens, humanity sent its response to the stars. The message was elegant in its simplicity, transmitted in over 50 different mathematical and linguistic formats to ensure understanding. "We noticed. Let's talk." In the Galactic Council's chamber, alarms blared. The impossible had happened, again. The primitive species had not only broken their containment barrier, but had also managed to trace it back to its source. Even more shocking, they had replicated and modified the technology in mere weeks. "This is beyond concerning," said Security Chief Jack, staring at the message repeating on their screens. "They're not angry. They're not threatening us. They're inviting us to communicate." The council members shifted uncomfortably. The humans' message was being broadcast through a modified version of their own technology, one that was somehow more efficient than the original design. "They improved our technology," technical advisor Mike said in disbelief. "They didn't just copy it. They made it better." First Speaker Bill raised his crystalline form to address the council. "We tried to cage a species that advances through challenges. Instead of stopping them, we gave them exactly what they needed to reach the stars." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Their attempt to contain humanity had backfired spectacularly. Now they had to decide how to respond to a species that treated their most advanced technology like a basic instruction manual. "Well," said head observer Tom, his tentacles quivering, "they want to talk. Perhaps we should listen before they decide to do more than just send messages." The Galactic Council's worst fears materialized sooner than anyone expected. Just 3 months after Earth's message, human ships appeared simultaneously at 5 major trading hubs across the galaxy. The vessels weren't the crude, experimental craft the Council had expected. Instead, they were sleek, efficient machines that seemed to dance through space. Their FTL drives didn't just copy the barrier technology. They had evolved it into something new. "Those ships shouldn't exist," muttered technical advisor Mike, watching the feeds from Trading Hub Alpha. "Their design, it's like they took our most advanced concepts and simplified them into something better." The human vessels made no aggressive moves. They simply appeared, established orbit, and waited. Their presence caused immediate chaos among the various alien species at the trading hubs. Some fled, others watched in fascination, and a few brave souls attempted communication. At Trading Hub Delta, a human ship captain responded to local authorities with perfect translations in 12 different alien languages. The message was the same to all: "We come to trade knowledge and establish peaceful relations." The Council's emergency session was in its 3rd day when reports started flooding in about human technological demonstrations. They weren't showing off weapons or making threats. Instead, they were solving problems. "They fixed the hub beta's malfunctioning gravity generators," reported a stunned station manager. "Not with our technology. They designed a completely new system using basic materials. It's twice as efficient and requires half the power." At Hub Gamma, humans introduced a new form of medical technology that could heal injuries without invasive procedures. Hub Alpha received plans for an improved waste recycling system. Hub Epsilon's centuries-old power distribution problems were solved with a simple mathematical formula. "Do you understand what they're doing?" asked First Speaker Bill, his crystalline form pulsing with anxiety. "They're not just showing us they can reach us. They're proving they can help us." The Council watched as humans began establishing diplomatic relations with various species. They shared technology freely, but always with one condition: it must be used for peaceful purposes. "Look at their ship designs," Defense Minister Bob pointed out. "No weapons we can detect, but their defensive capabilities are beyond anything we've seen. They've turned our containment barrier technology into both shields and FTL drives." More human ships appeared each day, each slightly different from the last. They were clearly experimenting, improving, evolving their designs in real time. What took other species decades of testing, humans accomplished in weeks. "They're learning from every encounter," head observer Tom noted, his tentacles weaving patterns of worry. Each new ship incorporates improvements based on their interactions with different alien technologies. The Council's fears reached new heights when they discovered humans had already established diplomatic relations with several younger species. Species that the Council had deemed too primitive for contact were now developing at an accelerated pace under human guidance. "This can't continue," declared Security Chief Jack. "They're disrupting thousands of years of established protocols." But the humans weren't disrupting. They were enhancing. Every species they contacted showed remarkable progress, not just in technology, but in social development and peaceful cooperation. "They're doing what we should have been doing all along," First Speaker Bill said quietly. "Instead of containing progress, they're nurturing it." The final shock came when humans demonstrated their crowning achievement. Using principles derived from the containment barrier, they had developed a way to communicate instantly across any distance. The galaxy-wide communication network they proposed would connect all species in real time. "We must make a decision," First Speaker Bill announced to the Council. "Either we continue to fear their progress and risk becoming obsolete, or we accept that humanity's approach to advancement might be better than our own." The Council chamber erupted in heated debate. But as they argued, humans continued their peaceful expansion across the galaxy, turning trading hubs into centers of innovation and cooperation. As the council debated, a simple message appeared on all their screens, transmitted through the humans' new communication network. The galaxy is big enough for all of us to grow together. Your move. The Galactic Council's emergency session entered its second week. Representatives from every major spacefaring civilization filled the ancient chamber, all focused on one issue: what to do about humanity. Let's review the facts. First, Speaker Bill began, his crystalline form glowing with stress. Every single weapon we've considered using against them has a fatal flaw. They learned from it. The chamber's main screen displayed a timeline of human adaptations. When the Council had deployed energy-based scanning technology, humans developed better stealth systems. When they considered gravity weapons, humans had already mastered gravity manipulation. It's not just weapons, added Security Chief Jack. They're solving problems we've struggled with for centuries. The radiation zones in Sector 7. Humans cleaned them up in a week, the plague affecting the rim worlds. They developed a cure while studying the initial reports. Technical advisor Mike projected a new set of data. Their pattern of advancement defies all known models. They don't progress linearly. They progress exponentially. Each challenge makes them stronger. The council members watched footage of human ships helping a stranded alien vessel. Instead of simply rescuing the crew, they upgraded the ship's systems, taught the crew how to maintain the improvements, and established an emergency response network for future incidents. Perhaps we're approaching this wrong, suggested head observer Tom, his tentacles moving thoughtfully. Look at their behavioral patterns. When we threaten them, they develop defenses. But when others need help, the screen shifted to show multiple instances of human intervention. They had prevented an asteroid collision in a populated system, stabilized a dying star threatening an alien colony, and provided food and medical aid to worlds suffering from natural disasters. They're protectors, said Defense Minister Bob, his mechanical arms folding in contemplation. Every advancement they make, they share with others, but only if it's used peacefully. New data streamed in hourly. Humans had established learning centers across the galaxy, teaching everything from advanced physics to sustainable agriculture. Species that had been enemies for generations were now working together in human-led research projects. Their understanding of psychology is remarkable, noted the Council's chief medical officer. They don't just solve technical problems. They help species understand each other. Their diplomatic course includes experts in hundreds of alien cultural practices. The Council reviewed reports from worlds that had accepted human assistance. Poverty rates dropped. Disease rates plummeted. Scientific advancement accelerated. But notably, military development remained strictly defensive in nature. They're forcing us to evolve. First Speaker Bill realized, not through threats or violence, but by showing us a better way to exist. Security footage played from various trading hubs. Humans could be seen working alongside dozens of different species, teaching, learning, and adapting their own methods to better suit alien physiologies and cultures. Look at this, technical advisor Mike highlighted a recent incident. When the Outer Rim pirates attacked Hub Delta, human ships didn't destroy them. They disabled their weapons, rebuilt their ships with better systems, and offered them legitimate work as space rescue operators. The council chamber fell silent as they watched the former pirates now serving as emergency responders, using modified human technology to save lives instead of taking them. We've been asking the wrong question. First Speaker Bill announced. We've been asking how to handle humanity. We should have been asking what we can learn from them. Defense Minister Bob's sensors picked up something interesting. Their ships, they're always slightly different. Each one is customized for the species they're working with. They're not just sharing technology. They're adapting it to make it more useful for others. The debate continued, but the tone had changed. Fear was being replaced by curiosity, suspicion by admiration. The humans weren't conquering the galaxy. They were nurturing it. I propose a new approach, said First Speaker Bill. Instead of deciding how to contain humanity, Let's ask ourselves why we fear progress so much that we tried to stop a species dedicated to helping others. As if in response to his words, reports arrived of another human achievement. They had just helped a young civilization achieve their first faster-than-light flight, years ahead of the Council's approved schedule. The human question was answering itself. The only real question left was whether the Council would continue to resist or finally learn to embrace change. Despite the growing evidence of humanity's peaceful intentions, a hardline faction within the Galactic Council decided to take matters into their own hands. Led by Admiral Gray of the Council's elite fleet, they launched a surprise attack on the newly established human colony on planet Hope. The attacking fleet emerged from FTL Drive with weapons charged, expecting an easy victory over the seemingly lightly defended world. What they found instead would change the galaxy's understanding of human capabilities forever. "Sir, we're not detecting any defensive weapons," reported Gray's second-in-command. "Just thousands of small satellites orbiting the colony." Admiral Gray smiled. "Perfect. Begin the attack pattern. Show these humans what real power looks like." The fleet fired their first volley. That's when the satellites activated. Instead of exploding, the energy weapons beams simply disappeared into small portals that opened in space. The humans had created a defense system that redirected energy attacks into empty space. "Impossible," Gray shouted. "Launch kinetic weapons." But the physical projectiles encountered an even stranger fate. They slowed down, stopped mid-flight, and transformed into raw materials, which the satellites collected and stored. "Sir," his weapons officer called out in panic, They're recycling our ammunition in real time." Before the Council fleet could retreat, every ship suddenly lost power. They hung in space, completely disabled but with life support still functioning perfectly. The humans had shut down their ships without harming a single crew member. A message played through every ship's communication system. "We understand you're scared. Let's talk about why." The Council chambers erupted in chaos when news of the failed attack reached them. But before they could respond, human ships appeared in orbit around every major Council world. Not as a threat, but as a demonstration. They could have been doing this all along. First Speaker Bill realized. They could have shut down our defenses at any time. A human diplomatic vessel requested permission to dock at the Council station. When granted, 3 human ambassadors walked into the chamber. They carried no weapons, wore no armor, and brought only a small data device. "We come with proof of our peaceful intentions," the lead ambassador announced. "Not just words, but actions. Please, allow us to show you." The data they presented stunned the Council into silence. Video evidence showed human ships secretly preventing natural disasters across the galaxy. They had diverted asteroids, stabilized planetary cores, and even adjusted orbital patterns to save countless lives, all without taking credit. "We've been watching and helping since before you knew we existed," the ambassador explained. "We didn't want recognition. We just wanted to help." Admiral Gray, who had been brought to the chamber after his failed attack, stood up shakily. "Why didn't you destroy us when we attacked you? You clearly could have." The youngest human ambassador smiled. "Because that's not who we are. We advance through understanding, not destruction. Your attack gave us valuable data on how to better protect peaceful worlds from aggression." The Council watched in amazement as the humans demonstrated how they had converted the attacking fleet's weapons into raw materials for building schools and hospitals. "You turned our weapons into medical facilities," Defense Minister Bob asked incredulously. "Every challenge is an opportunity to help others," the third ambassador explained. "We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help it grow." First Speaker Bill's crystalline form brightened with sudden understanding. "All this time, we thought you were a threat because you advanced so quickly. But you advanced quickly because you wanted to help others more effectively." The human ambassadors nodded. "We learn fastest when solving problems that help people. It's who we are." As the Council processed this revelation, the humans made their only request. Let us help you help others. We can accomplish so much more together than apart. The chamber fell silent as the council faced a choice: continue fearing human advancement or embrace their offer of peaceful cooperation. The failed attack had proven humanity's power, but their response had proven their wisdom. First Speaker Bill looked at the recycled weapons, now serving as healing centers, and made his decision. The time for fear was over. The time for learning had begun. The council chamber was packed for what humans had called the full disclosure session. Representatives from every known civilization waited anxiously as the human delegation prepared their presentation. Before we begin, the lead human ambassador announced, "We need to show you what's been happening in your galaxy without your knowledge." The first image appeared on the massive screens, a massive swarm of planet-killing asteroids that had been heading toward populated worlds in the outer rim. The next image showed these same asteroids, mysteriously diverted into safe orbits around uninhabited stars. "That was us," the ambassador said quietly. "6 months before you discovered Earth, we detected the threat and handled it without anyone knowing." The council members shifted uncomfortably as more images appeared. A gamma-ray burst that would have sterilized 12 worlds, mysteriously blocked by an artificial shield that appeared and disappeared without trace. A hostile artificial intelligence that had nearly escaped containment, found mysteriously deactivated. 3 extinction-level events, technical advisor Mike whispered, all solved before we even knew they existed. The human ambassador nodded. "We didn't want to cause panic. We simply solved the problems as we found them." The screen showed more evidence: hidden human observation posts near developing civilizations, protecting them from cosmic threats and aggressive neighbors. Stealth satellites monitoring solar activity around populated systems, preventing devastating solar flares from reaching inhabited worlds. But how? First Speaker Bill's crystalline form pulsed with confusion. "You were supposedly contained on Earth." The youngest human ambassador smiled. "We broke out of local space 50 years ago. We just didn't want to disturb anyone, so we stayed hidden while we helped." The evidence was undeniable. While the council had been watching Earth, humans had been quietly protecting the galaxy. They had developed technologies far beyond what they had recently revealed, using them not for conquest, but for preservation. "Look at this," Defense Minister Bob pointed to new data. "They've been maintaining a shield network around primitive worlds, protecting them from space debris and radiation. Some of these shields have been active for decades." The humans revealed more. They had established hidden medical research stations throughout the galaxy, developing cures for diseases before they could become epidemics. They had secretly stabilized the orbits of dozens of worlds threatened by gravitational disturbances. "Why reveal this now?" asked Security Chief Jack. "Because the threats are getting bigger," the lead ambassador replied. "We've detected something approaching the galaxy, something we can't handle alone." The screen showed a massive anomaly at the galaxy's edge. The humans had been preparing for its arrival, building defenses and developing countermeasures, but they needed help. "We don't just want to protect you," the ambassador continued. "We want to teach you to protect yourselves, to join us as guardians of all life in this galaxy." Head Observer Tom's tentacles twisted in amazement. "You've been our silent protectors all along. The species we tried to contain was actually containing threats to us." The humans brought up their final piece of evidence, a map showing thousands of potential threats they were currently monitoring: rogue black holes, gamma-ray bursts, hostile entities, and natural disasters, all being watched and managed by hidden human operations. "We're not asking for control or power," the ambassador explained. "We're asking for cooperation. The galaxy faces threats bigger than any one species can handle alone." The council chamber buzzed with discussions as species realized how much they owed to humanity's secret protection. The humans had never sought credit or power. They had simply helped because they could. First Speaker Bill rose. "We feared you because you advanced so quickly. Now we understand why you needed to advance. You were racing against threats we couldn't even see." The human ambassadors nodded. Every advancement we made was driven by a need to protect life. All life, not just human life. As the Council absorbed this revelation, the galaxy suddenly seemed different. The species they had tried to contain had actually been their unseen guardians all along. So, the lead ambassador asked, "Will you join us in protecting our galaxy?" The answer was already clear in every council member's mind. The time for fear was long past. The time for unity had arrived. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had been transformed. Where once stood separate sections for different species, now all representatives sat together in a new circular arrangement designed by humans to promote unity and equality. First Speaker Bill's crystalline form glowed brightly as he addressed the assembled representatives. For 10,000 years, we believe our way was the only way. Today, we admit we were wrong. The formal apology to humanity was unprecedented in Council history. But even more unprecedented was the human response to it. "We accept your apology," the lead human ambassador said warmly, "but it's unnecessary. You acted out of concern for the galaxy. Now let's act together for its future." The screens displayed the new Joint Defense Initiative. Human ships would train Council forces in advanced protection techniques. Council species would contribute their unique abilities and perspectives to create better solutions for galactic threats. Earth isn't just becoming a member of the Council, announced Defense Minister Bob. It's becoming our central hub for technological advancement and species cooperation. The changes were immediate and dramatic. Human teaching centers opened across the galaxy, but they weren't just teaching. They were learning too. Every species had unique insights to offer, and humans eagerly absorbed them all. "Look at these results," Technical Advisor Mike reported excitedly. "By combining human innovation with Council species experience, we've already doubled our defensive capabilities." The screen showed the first achievements of this new cooperation. The Joint Human Council team had developed a way to safely relocate endangered civilizations from dying worlds. Another group had created a method to rehabilitate stars nearing the end of their life cycle. But the most remarkable change, Head Observer Tom noted, his tentacles moving gracefully, is in how we all work together now. He was right. Species that had once feared each other now collaborated daily. Ancient enemies found themselves working side by side, discovering they had more in common than they'd thought. Humanity's approach to problem-solving had transformed galactic society. "We've detected the first scout of the approaching threat," the human ambassador announced, showing new data. "But look at these defense plans we've developed together." The combined knowledge of humanity and the Council had produced something extraordinary. They weren't just preparing to fight. They were preparing to communicate, to understand, to find peaceful solutions where possible. "This is why we needed everyone," the ambassador explained. "Humans can build the technology, but we need your wisdom to use it properly." The changes spread beyond defense and technology. Trade flourished as species shared their unique goods and knowledge freely. Cultural exchanges led to new forms of art and music that combined different species' perspectives. Earth had become a symbol of unity. The planet that the Council had once tried to contain now hosted the galaxy's largest learning center, where beings from thousands of worlds came to share knowledge and ideas. "The containment barrier was the best mistake we ever made," First Speaker Bill mused. "It showed us what humanity truly was, not a threat to fear, but a friend to embrace." The screen showed the latest images from across the galaxy. New joint colonies where different species lived and worked together. Research stations where ancient Council wisdom combined with human innovation to solve age-old problems. Ships of mixed crews exploring the galaxy's mysteries together. "We stand ready," the human ambassador announced, "for whatever challenges await us. Not as separate species, but as one united galaxy." The Council chamber erupted in applause, a human custom that many species had come to enjoy. Even those without hands found their own ways to express approval. First Speaker Bill raised his crystalline form in the traditional gesture of respect. "From this day forward, we are all guardians of the galaxy." Not because we have to be, but because humans showed us we want to be. As the ceremony concluded, news arrived of another breakthrough. A joint team had just discovered a way to communicate across dimensions, opening up possibilities no one had imagined before. The galaxy had entered its golden age, not through conquest or competition, but through the very thing the Council had once feared: humanity's endless desire to learn, grow, and help others do the same. The stars themselves seemed brighter now, illuminating the future where fear had been replaced by friendship and isolation by unity. The age of division was over. The age of cooperation had begun.